Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Board Game Barbecue podcast. This is Jules here, and this is going to be a very special episode today because we're going to start our countdown of our top 10 games of all time. This is going to be episode 273, and joining me today is everyone. How are we all doing, crew?
Woo! Good.
Hello.
Good.
No better that you asked.
Well, on that cheery note, let's get kicking into this. So today we're going to be counting from 10 to 6. But before we do that, what we wanted to do was read out some of the responses from our community regarding last week's question of the pod, which was, what are your top 5 games of all time? So let's start it there before we jump into our top. And how about Connor? Do you want to read off some of the Facebook responses?
I will, Jules. So we got Maria Art DS has said Anachrony, Wingspan, Terraforming Mars, The Crew, and Barcelona. Shane Murray says, I generally don't have a refined top list of anything. I just enjoy all the games I play, and there's so many that are just so good in different ways. Off the top of my head, that the games that scratch the itch are 1946, Pipeline, Pax Premier, City of the Big Shoulders, and Vinos, but tomorrow they will be different. Kathleen Stanford says Spirit Island, Race for the Galaxy, Pax Premier, Bullet, and It's a Wonderful World. Hey, I remember that game.
Great game.
And Jessica Ewing says, according to science, in parentheses, pub people, mine are Pandemic Legacy, Hanamakoji, Lords of Waterdeep, Five Tribes, and Raiders of the North Sea. Great variation in there. Let's hope we have the same.
Yeah, fantastic. We've got some Discord responses.
Yeah, so I'll do the Discord. We got AV. AV I just met yesterday. He's was new to the Sydney Game Day, and he's jumped right on board. He's super keen to get involved in the hobby, so it's good to see him contributing already. So AV said, I'm still learning games, but what I've played and rated on BGG, Code Names, Sushi Go, Regicide, Sea of Strife, thanks to Greenie introducing it to him yesterday, and Corridor.
Oh, I love Corridor.
Yeah. Jam Master Jim says Marvel Legendary, Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova, Great Western Trail, and Seven Wonders. Great Western Trail's in there. It's good to see. And Lee Perrett says Orleans, Bonanza, Six Nymph, Wingspan, and Gloomhaven. I think it's an interesting list from Lee. I wouldn't necessarily expect to see those on his list.
Yeah, very interesting. Dan, do you want to read off a Twitter response?
Yeah, we pulled one down from Twitter from Matt Riddle. He said Galaxy Trucker, Grand Austria Hotel, Trajan, Ink and Gold, and Catan.
Oh, Ink and
He's
Gold's
top 5.
Yeah, so many good games. I'll read off one more from Mr. and Mrs. Meeple. We've got Marvel Champions, The Lost Ruins of Arnak, Great Western Trail, Everdell, and Power Rangers Hero of the Grid. So many games.
I want to play the Power Rangers game big time.
I have played that one. It's quite good. Yeah.
You can't get
easy to get, though.
I was going to say, you can't use your connections, Jules, for.
No, I can't, unfortunately. So before we launch into the 5 to 6 for this episode, has there been any, without doing any spoilers, there's been a great deal of amazing games that have launched this past year. Do you think there's going to be any major surprises from anyone's list, or do we think things are pretty rock solid? How are we feeling?
I'm going to be surprised by Dana's list.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Dana and Lauren are here, and this will be their first time doing their top 10s. Yeah. So I'm keen to see where their favourites fall, I suppose. For those that are Patreon supporters of ours, you would have probably heard some of their earlier games, but we'll see what happens today.
When prepping, did anyone help Dana count to 10? I'm not sure.
I think Dana's. What time is it on the podcast? It's we've been going for about 5 minutes, so you last about 5 minutes before the first one.
Thanks, Dana. You took a bullet for me.
I think Dana's list is going to be a surprise to Dana.
Dana came out swinging when we were last on the podcast, so now it's gloves off.
Yeah, I like it.
All right,
I don't know what I ever saw in you on that first day that I met you. I don't know what I saw.
Bacon bullets.
All right, let's get stuck into it before we get stuck into each other too much more. Let's go we'll stick with this order. We'll hear from Dan first, then we'll go Def, Lauren, myself, Connor, Dana, Adrian, and then Mitch. So Dan, take us away with your number 10.
Yeah, baby. My number 10 is a game that is brand new to my top anything. It's a game that came out this year.
Ooh.
And I was very surprised that it landed as high as it did, but I've never had a bad game with this. It combines two of my favorite mechanics, and that's probably what I enjoy about this game the most. I grew up playing card games, and while I never played 500, trick-taking games came very, very naturally to me. And my other favorite game that I don't often get, but I get the opportunity to play, is the old hidden trader mechanic. And a trick-taking game that came out this year that involves a hidden trader is Inside Job.
Wow.
I've had a lot of
That
fun
is a
teaching
shock.
this game at the game days. It was just the way it filtered. I kept choosing it against other games, and I would play this in a heartbeat. I've thoroughly enjoyed this game. I've had other trick takers in my top 50, if you've heard, but this is the highest trick taker of all of them for me. So new to my top 10 this year for 2023, Inside Job.
Very cool.
Okay, so my number 10 game, I feel I might find myself in hot water here from the very beginning, is a game that I absolutely adore. It was higher in my top 10 the previous years, much higher in my top 10 the past couple of years, but I haven't played it enough this year, and I think that is a major impact. And overall, I don't know how you guys have done your top 10s, but mine seem to gravitate towards games that I play and replay again. Not because I play those games, but because, when comparing a game that I've played 35 times with a game I've played 5 times, even if I had great experiences with both, then the game I've played 35 gets me to rank it higher. It stands the test of time more. Now, having that out of the way, my number 10 is On Mars.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a big drop.
Okay.
That is just to clarify, this is 100% Adrian's fault, because we have played 0 On Mars games after midnight in 2023. I don't know how this is possible.
This is true.
Like, dude, come on.
You even played it solo, didn't you, the other day? Or did you play it
I
with
even
someone
played
else?
it solo a couple of
Yeah, there you
times,
go.
trying to... No, that was it, yeah. We played the expansion at your house earlier this year, which was good fun, but like I said before, I don't need it. Base game is fantastic. On Mars, still one of, I think, the best, if not the best, worker placement game in the market. My number 10.
Where was it last year, Def?
Last year, it was number 3.
Ooh,
Okay.
That's a big drop. It's a big drop.
But still in the top 10.
Still in the top 10.
All right, let's go to Lauren.
All right. My number 10 is a game that is all worlds of beige and brown and
I thought we got rid of
orange.
Sarah.
That's Poopocalypse.
And
Oh,
it is a game, though, Mitch, that I think you did enjoy when you played it.
I think I know what it is, and I did enjoy it.
Inish.
Oh, you got me. It's a game that's all about route building, of placing cubes, kicking off other people from spots to connect and get points, and that is Hansa Teutonica. I think one of the best Euro games ever made, and one of the most interactive Euro games ever made. It's got all the excellent Euro tropes of unlocking abilities, unlocking tracks, bonus points, points on points, but there's also a great tension between the players at the table. You're constantly looking and bluffing and second guessing what others are going to do. I have a great time every time I play it. It scales really well across all player counts. Hansa Teutonica, my number 10.
Good pick.
Fantastic game.
All right, so for myself, I don't know how to introduce this one other than I guess I would say it's the smallest. It definitely is the smallest box game in my collection. and it hasn't moved from its position last year. It was number 10, and it's sticking at number 10. It's the cutthroat, backstabby game of Oriflamme.
Nice.
It's just so easy to table, so easy to teach, and so much variety just with, if you have multiple versions, being able to mix those together to create some really unique and fun combinations. So this one's really not going anywhere for me, and I can't wait to get the third version eventually when it comes to Australia. I'll have to wait and see when that happens. But yeah, solid number 10 for me, Oriflamme.
Nice one, Jules. I haven't played that, much to my chagrin. I know. Look, I lose to you enough in games. I don't need to lose to you anymore. So I guess I making my list, I was a little bit interested as to like where the games compared to other, I guess, maybe great or not so great games. So what I did is, before I announce my game, I'm actually going to say what the 2 games in the BGG Top 100 are either side. All right, so you kind of get to see where it's at. So for my number 10, the game, I guess that's lower. So I'll say the game that's lower ranked and then higher ranked.
Okay,
for these ones. So my number 10, the one below it is Concordia. The one above it is Clank Acquisitions Incorporated. Okay. And the game is A Feast for Odin.
Okay.
So, which I felt that's kind of weird. Like, I wouldn't have picked Clank to Acquisitions Incorporated to be ahead of A Feast for Odin, because
I wouldn't have picked that either.
In my opinion, A Feast for Odin is Uwe's best game. I know people say Caverna is, or Agricola or whatever, but Feast for Odin, it is such a great puzzle. I talked about playing it solo on the last episode of the podcast we were on together. I love it so much. I am so bad at it, and it's almost like the games that I'm worse at, I love more, because I know there's so much room for me to grow. I know I'm never going to be able to cover that board up, but I'll still bite off more than I can chew and grab an island. Mitch, I've started migrating, my man. I've started doing it. I listened to you, so I started doing that, and you have less to feed. Just quickly on the solo, it's pretty much the game itself, right? So all you're doing is you just can't take those spots the next turn. So it's so good. I adore this game. I'll play it on BGA. I'll play it on the table. So yeah, if you're looking for a game of it, hit me up, because A Feast for Odin is my number 10.
Very good.
Nice.
So we're playing what's the gap between Lions and Spakowski, Connor, with your games?
I have no idea what
Nobody
those
got that
words mean.
reference?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a Denzel Washington movie,
sports,
Fallen.
Sports and cartoons, man.
Sorry.
That's what you got to do for me.
I do love that movie, Fallen, but I didn't pick up on that quote.
It's all right.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Dana, you're up next. Here we go.
Good choice, Connor. So, my number 10. Now, I did have a lot, before I go, I did have a lot of trouble coming up with my top 10. I don't know if any of you, any of you feel like this, but they all feel like my babies or like my children, and leaving them out, I feel bad. I actually genuinely feel guilty leaving them out. So this was really hard. But anyway, what I've done is, because I think I'm fairly much an open book with what kind of games I like, and I didn't want people to feel bored. So I've got 5 words, and I want the people listening and yourselves perhaps to see if you can guess what this game is. So the 5 words that I have are command console, shipyard, sector, charge token, and dice. Yes, I can count, Mitch.
Have you hyphenated charge command console, was it? Is that hyphenated? Because otherwise I got 6.
You're right. That was
5 clues then.
Oh dear, it's come unstuck.
That is so true. Oh my God.
I needed to use my fingers, but I did get 6.
Okay. 5 terms. That's what it is. 5 terms.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know if anybody knows what it is, but surprisingly, my number 10 game is a space game.
Space Base.
Space Base.
Hey.
Yeah. So when I was speaking with John D. Clare on the podcast, I wasn't joking. I actually really like Space Base. For me, it was one of the first games that I played, and it was so wonderful that up to 7 people at the time, because if you get the command station expansion, you can play up to 7. 7 people can play, and it's just a fantastic game where everybody gets something on their turn. Everybody is engaged on their turn, and I love that. And it's something that I can play with my family and also with gamers. Look, I don't take much notice of the types of ships that people are upgrading and things like that. So I'm not into it that much, but the gameplay itself is great. And I love the idea. How good is it? How good is John D. Clare? How he can just do different things with cards. I
He's
just
all right.
love the way that you can. So good. How you can upgrade your ships by just flipping the card over. I just think it. Anyway, I just
Can
think
we
it's
use
great.
his full middle name, please?
Oh, John
Danger.
Danger Clare. Danger
The
Clare.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's a third. That's right.
So anyway, that's my number 10, Space Base.
Nice. Well, for me, my list is also kind of attuned to the way Def looks at games. It's games that I've played considerably and games that I've really enjoyed and I've continuously kept playing, and games that maybe introducing people to new concepts of games and into the hobby and stuff like that comes into the parameters for me. So in saying that, my number 10 is Reiner Knizia's High Society. I
Great.
I love the mind games of making people bet more, pulling out early, like all that stuff. It's just a great game. People who even don't like bidding games, like Dana and auction games, I think still enjoyed it to a degree. But that whole premise of trying to push people over so that they have spent the most amount of money and stealing the win is just fantastic. And it's timeless. I think it's a timeless game. So, yeah. Number
Strongly
10.
agree on that.
I think it's interesting you should say that Dana doesn't like auction bidding games, because I don't much like auction bidding games either. And
I'd say we're kindred spirits, but I don't think so.
well, since it's my turn to do the my number 10, I did a similar thing to you, Dana, in terms of describing the game. So there's 2 things within the last 60 seconds where we have a commonality there. So maybe just like great minds think alike, maybe minds that are not great at math think alike also. So what I did for my one was I came up with a line for each game, but I limited mine to whatever number it was. That's how many words I could use in the clue.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, so
Love it.
10,
Harder as it goes.
10 will be 10, 9 will be 9, 8, and so on, right? So the first one, my number 10, the words that I have for that one is negotiate, scheme, conquer, power shifts in Renaissance Italy, strategic battles.
It's the one just like Inish.
That is,
Playable.
but it's not just like Inish. It's condottiere.
Condottieri. I thought it was French.
No, it's Italian.
Italian.
It's
It's just a JB is French, and
I
he
know.
says it better than any of us. So condottiere is my number 10. It's a funny one because I don't typically like area control either, but it's all about area control and who's winning each region and how you can get regions in adjacency and so on. And I really like that card play mechanic of you have your hand, but you don't refresh them. They don't recycle every battle. You've got to decide when to play and when to hold. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
And we had one of the all-time great games of that at South by Southwest.
We did.
Absolutely.
We did.
That was epic.
It was great. I
It
personally
sucked.
think
I hated that.
I think what made that game great was James. personally.
100%. It wasn't Jules's win.
But no, because it was James, wasn't it, that did set up that 3-way Mexican standoff at the end. Yeah,
He did.
knowing that he couldn't win. All right, so that's my number 10, Condottieri.
Nice one. All right, that'll bring us around to number 9. Here we go again, Dan.
Coming around the head. Right, my number 9. Again, I'm going to list off all the things that I love about this game, why it's at number 9. So I love flip and write games. And this is my second highest ranked flip and write games. I love the simplicity of polyomino shapes. There's something about just the Tetris-y nature of something that brings back nostalgia. I enjoy player interaction. I really enjoy modular objectives so you can get replayability. At least every time you play it, the different objectives are out there. And this game has also replaced Quacks for me as a game that I teach new people. It's at the same spot as it was last year. Number 9 is Cartographers.
Nice.
I can't get away from this game. It is brilliant. It sort of scratches so many itches for me. And I've got a few of the expansions now. I've got the lava one and the snow one, which I got directly from publisher, as well as neoprene. Mitch, you'll be proud of me. I've got a proper neoprene thing for Cartographers now as well.
You still use color pencils, Dan, or have you laminated the papers?
No.
Because I laminated them, and then the game lost like its magic, you gotta lose that romantic side to it. And I was like, scratch that. We need proper color pencils. And
I went to
so
Kmart
you can
and
hear the sound.
I bought a few packs of colored pencils, so when I take it to game days, everyone gets their own set of colored pencils.
Awesome.
And just go to town.
Do you use the publisher has like a map generator randomizer? Have you used that before?
I haven't used that yet, no.
Yeah, you can get some really funky maps on there. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll bet. And just the fact that they've done that just gives it so much more replayability and longevity. So Cartographers, number 9 last year, number 9 again this year.
Yeah, fantastic game. My number 9 is probably one of the best economic games that I've ever played. I played with Adrian and MJ every year on New Year's Day. This year might be slightly different, but it's a game that I also have played less this year. And I think one of the reasons it's dropped a few spaces in my top 10 is because I've started to like games with a little bit more interaction. But among Euro games, if you call this an economic Euro game, this is probably one of the best ones in terms of interaction. And that is none other than Brass Birmingham.
Great game.
That was higher on your list last year as well.
It was at number 4.
Okay.
It's a fantastic game. Like, these lists are difficult to nail down, but I do. When Dana was talking earlier, I wanted to say that this year it was actually easier to sort out my top 10.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, my top 3 games are probably completely interchangeable now. But it was easier to rank the 10 best games, my 10 favorite games. Then after 11, it's all chaos. Like, you could have something at number 12 tomorrow, and then next day could be number 20. I don't know. But the higher you go in the list, the easier it was this year. So I think Brass, it deserves to be in the top 10. For me, it's a fantastic game. I would play it anytime, and I've never had a bad game of it. So,
well, it's back on its throne, right? It's number 1 BGG at the moment, so
it's number 1 on Board Game Geek. Yeah, deserved, I think.
All right. Well, in the same vein, my number 9 is a game that at one point was the number 1 game on Board Game Geek of all time.
Oh.
And that is Rainer Knizia's best game, Tigris and Euphrates.
Oh, okay.
It is a masterpiece of combat, of area control. I love a lot of his games because they distill really kind of this huge game in a really simple rule set, and this game has that in spades. The combat resolution is so simple, but I think the coolest thing about this game is combat occurs so frequently and so drastically changes the board state. There are these huge bombastic battles that totally alter and shift the power, but you're never quite sure who's going to win because your score at the end of the game is the color that you have the fewest amount of points in. I think that was the first game to do that. It's just an excellent interactive game, almost perfect information. His best design. Tigris and Euphrates, my number 9.
Okay. I think going along with what Lauren just said about a game that really distills down to a simple rule set and has a lot of strategy, I feel like that well describes my number 9. And I guess the fun fact about this one, I have a few games in my top 10 that have pretty short names. This one's the shortest. It is only 3 letters. Does anyone have a guess at what that might
not
be?
this again. Not this again. We said it has 4 letters, not 3, and you insist that it has 3 letters.
No, it has only 3 letters.
Okay, so it's a different game. All right. Right, shut up.
I think Dan was making some motions just then, and I think he nailed it, is Bus.
Yeah.
So Bus from Splotter is a fantastic game. Literally the rules are on one sheet. It's that simple. And oh man, who knew that delivering people to where they want to go would be such a cutthroat game? But oh boy, has this game delivered every single time to me. I absolutely love it. Treasure in my collection. So good. We'll play it anytime. So that's Bus, number 9.
Jules, I guarantee you your copy of Bus is not as cool as Def's copy of Bus.
That's probably true.
In case of Def got a personally made, like 3D printed neoprene mat of Bus. It's unreal. It's so cool.
Yeah,
he couldn't wait to show it to me and Harry when we came up. That was really cool.
So good.
It's very cool. So for my number 9, the 2 games either side. This one's a little bit higher up in the top. It's not even in the top 100s. That should tell you kind of what type of game it is. Wayfarers of the South Tigris and Boone Lake. And that game is Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North.
Oh, yes.
Interesting.
Between those two.
Yeah.
Look, I talked about Imperial Settlers, the base game, on the last Patreon episode. Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North gives me that Magic the Gathering fix. You have a deck of cards that you play through. It's about maximizing your economy. The changes that you have from the base game of Imperial Settlers, I think, are much better. You don't have the interaction between a common deck and your faction deck. It's pretty much all your faction deck, and then you have the islands as well. I just really like how thematic each of the decks are, how it ties into the different civilizations. It's, a cartoonish look at them. You've got the Japanese, the like native Northern Americans, so like the tribes of sort of the ice tribes and stuff like that. So you've also got the Celts and the Vikings, so many great ones as well, and it's just so much fun. If you're looking for a game that you have lots of combo tasticity, TM Mitch Ketty, then you look no further than Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. Such a great game.
I wish I had gotten to play it, but I haven't played it yet. But it sounds great.
Let's change that next time I'm in Brisbane.
That's it. My number 9, there are 5 words, only 5. I just had to change them.
Hang on. Just let me get my fingers out. Go.
Okay, number 9 is Galloway, Engineer, Hazard, Engine, and St. Louis. There's a lot of blank looks
that's a hard
staring
one.
at me. Number 9 is Great Western Trail, second edition.
Bitch.
Does anybody know? You should have got
that, bitch. Definitely.
I'm really surprised that you didn't get that. Galloway.
She didn't say cows.
Yeah, Galloway's one of them.
Galloway's one of the cows.
Yeah.
Anyway, fantastic game by Alexander Pfister. It's just got this great blend of different mechanisms like deck building where you're managing your herd. It's got a Wild West theme. It's got this rondel movement of your little cowboys. And it's just a game of like strategies and trade-offs. And I just really enjoy it. I wish it played up to 5, but maybe it might be too long with that. But
Have you played it much at 4? I refuse to
Yes.
play it at 4. I love the game, but I refuse to play it at 4. It goes,
no, I played at 4.
It's too long.
16 weeks is how long it takes to play it at 4.
You're playing with the wrong people then.
Oh man, sometimes I've had some annoyingly long games of that game, and like I said, I'm not bashing the game. I love it, but I know where it's weak, and it's weak in length sometimes. Yeah.
So I have not played the other versions yet. One's underneath my bed or our bed, hidden away, and I've got the other one as well. But I haven't had a chance to play them yet.
New Zealand one is very good.
Yeah, so I'll have to break it out at some point. But yes, Great Western Trail.
You're not saying it right, Dana.
What?
It's
I think that all the time. And I've actually, when I've been playing with people, because some of the people I play with are quite young, they have no idea where that comes from. No idea. Lauren, do you know that song?
Which song? Sorry. I mean, the word song. Threw me for a loop. Yeah.
You do know where it's from. Oh, okay. Well, a lot of people just look at me like I'm an idiot, similar to what I'm getting now. Yeah.
Great game.
All right. My number 9, for the same kind of reasons that Def had for his number 9, I haven't played it as much this year. And I am also enjoying more interactive games. And that number 9 is Brass Birmingham. The same spot.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
First crossover. There you go.
And the last time I played it was on the same day I played it with Death, like almost a year ago. It's just, it's a phenomenal game, but it's just not getting to the table. And when that starts to happen, things like High Society become more, jump into my list, which were never in my list previously. So, yeah.
All right, my number 9. My 9 words to describe this game are: unique heroes clash in dynamic dice-powered battles for supremacy.
I think I know what it is.
Dice Throne?
Dice Throne.
Ding, ding.
Right.
Yeah, Dice Throne, or Battle Yahtzee, as we like to call it. Yeah, so Dice Throne, it's just really good. And they've just, they've done the Marvel one, the X-Men one's coming. It's a game that I can often get Brad to sit and play because we just enjoy it together. It's that head-to-head father-son thing. He always beats me, but we always have a great time. And it's pretty much every game I've ever played, it always comes down to like one turn. It's always really close, no matter who you're sort of playing. So it's very well balanced. And it's just a lot of different variation from the different characters, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, it's my number 9, Dice Throne.
All right, here we go. Number 8s now.
Number 8. Some of the things about my number 8 game that I love, dice, specifically using dice as your workers. I really, really enjoy that. It's funny because I've never been a big one on worker placement. And the main reason I think is because worker placement, normally it limits where you can go. Whereas with this game, you're not limited to where you can go as long as you can afford to pay the cost of going there. And so there's the whole resource management side of that as well. And then upgrading your workers with the dice. I really, really love that bit. The fact that the game is modular, particularly with the expansions, every time you play it, it's a new puzzle because you know what resources you need to be able to achieve certain things. It's just a way of how do I get there? How do I get my stone and my wood in order to be able to build? And of course, tracks. I love tracks in games. The tracks that sort of end up pulling you in a direction, and the further you go along that track, the more rewarding it is. So you sort of go, well, do I go on this track or do I stick to this one because the rewards are going to be so much greater when I get to the end? And it starts with a T. Teotihuacan is my number 8. It was my number 7 last year, so it's only dropped down 1, but I've been playing a bunch of it this year on BGA with the people in the community and with some randoms, and it is still a highly rated game for me.
It's such a good game.
All right, Def, number 8.
Radio, this is a new game in my top 10, and although I've always rated it very highly, it just couldn't get in there. The competition was pretty harsh. It managed to get in there, and the main couple of reasons are that I've found a group that loves the game and plays it frequently. And also, it has much higher interaction than some of the other games that I've been playing over the last few years. I don't think there's any, doubt about the brilliance of the design of this game anywhere in board game circles. And I don't think there's going to be a surprise that this is PAX Pamir. So,
Right. Yes.
I've taught this to many, many people this year and never had a bad game of it. The rule set is, simple enough for people to grasp as soon as they start playing, but the game is so deep and offers many, many opportunities for shenanigans over the table. As always with these kinds of games, you need the right group so that the people that enjoy each other's company and don't mind getting into each other's business, but it has a way of doing it that never annoys me. And yeah, it's just a phenomenal game. I would play it over and over again, and it's one of the few games that I would gladly play back to back. In fact, in the previous Brisbane game day, I did, because we played a game and it finished early because somebody ran away with it.
Wow.
And then I said, well, I had calculated 3 hours for that. Do you guys want to go again? And everybody said, oh, yes, we're playing again. So we played
cool.
2 games back to back. So PAX Pamir, for me, obviously the second edition, it's one of Cole Wehrle's masterpieces.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree more with that one. All right, Lauren, over to you.
Alrighty, my number 8 is a game that makes me feel stupider than any other game in my collection. It is a deduction game that I think has some of the best app implementation of any game on the market, and that's the Search for Planet X.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love this game. I'm garbage at it, and I love playing it solo because it's basically the same experience, but I don't have to feel self-conscious about how much better someone else is doing than me. But the AI, it almost feels like it's cheating. Like, how are you making these logical leaps? How are you getting there? So there's such a high skill ceiling, and I can just keep chipping away at it, keep trying to get there. But the game looks beautiful. The theme is really well integrated, and the puzzle is one that I just always want to come back to. Can set it up in a sec and have just a really kind of meaty experience. Yeah, my number 8, Search Planet X.
Wow. That's one I haven't played. And I think it
Me
was
either.
Adrian a while ago, I think was playing it at a game day, and he's just like, I can't do this.
I hate that game. Sorry, Lauren. No offense. all I could think is I reckon Mitch would hate it even more. That's what I was thinking.
I think it would be my jam, 100%.
Yeah.
Just never.
I think you'd like
Sure.
it, Dan. I think you'd like it.
All right. So my number 8. Oh, man. So we've done this for 3 years. We've done the top 10 thing for 3 years in the podcast. And this game has held its spot for 3 years straight. It has not moved. Pub Meeple has done its thing when I've done the ranking engines, but every time it just comes out in this spot, and we almost had a 3-way jinx with it. But
Brass
yeah,
Birmingham?
it is Brass Birmingham.
Wow.
So
That is crazy. Almost.
yeah. It was just one position off. But yeah, the past 3 years, Brass Birmingham has been number 8 in my list. It has not moved. It is just a solid game. Absolutely agree with everything Def and Adrian said about it. So, yeah. All right, Connor, over to you.
All right, so the 2 games that provide the bread for this game sandwich are Lords of Waterdeep and Through the Ages, A Story of Civilization.
What?
So 2 games that...
the old Through the Ages, though.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah, it has to be.
Well, maybe. We'll see. Because
Is it
my
rigged?
game... remember, Def, this isn't on my top 2. I have nothing to do with those games. My game is Beyond the Sun.
Wow,
yes.
really?
Funnily enough, Beyond the Sun, I always get mixed up with Search for Planet X.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't like. I haven't played either of them. I don't know if the boxes look the same or if they're just planet themes.
No,
Or
they don't.
I have no idea. I always get them confused.
So I have not played Search for Planet X, so hopefully I don't get confused between the two. But Beyond the Sun, it is Tech Tree, the game. But what I enjoy most about this is the actual way that you influence who wins is actually by placing your ships on the map and dominating planets. But in order for you to get the most out of it, you need to be working that tech tree. It accelerates super quickly. For a period of time, you're going, how much time do I have left? And all of a sudden someone researches their first level 4 technology, then someone colonizes multiple planets in the same couple of turns, and next thing you know, there's only 2 more people that can achieve the victory.
Yeah,
the victory conditions, and it becomes such a cutthroat game to play. You're forcing people out of planets. You're sort of defeating them and pushing them away, sending them back to deep space or Solaris. It is so good. I adore this game so much. And again, what sort of works in its favor is the BGA implementation is fantastic. It seems like it's a real sort of like immense game to teach, but it's not. It's actually really, really simple. And once you wrap your head around it, it's more like a puzzle than anything else. So Beyond the Sun or Tech Tree, the game. Oh, I love this game so much.
Great game and pretty unique, right?
Yeah, very unique. Yeah. The one thing I remember to this day from my first time playing it is the player boards are like barely passable as dual layer. They're so thin. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, when do I get to roll these dice? It's like they're not dice.
You never get to roll
them.
them.
Roll
them.
I want to try this one so much.
I think you'd actually really enjoy it, Lauren.
Yeah.
It's very good. All right, Dana, what's your number 8?
My number 8, I think, Connor, you will get this. Actually, I think everyone will, but I think Connor will.
You're just saying me this time because
easy.
I'm the simplest.
Yeah.
Because Mitch is too dumb. Okay, right. 5 words. Dual, island, assistant, research, and travel.
Darwin's Journey.
Oh, for God's sake, Connor, you let me down.
Yeah, Connor, you're as stupid as I am.
You didn't even guess.
No, it's Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Ah, well,
Yes.
I was close.
Yes, you were. This game came out around the same time, I remember, as Dune Imperium, and it was quite special in that time because it mixed worker placement and deck building. And I've played both of those, but I just tend to gravitate towards the theme of Lost Ruins of Arnak more than Dune Imperium. And I just love the blend of those 2 mechanics. And I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast a couple of weeks ago because I managed to play the latest expansion. But it feels to me, without the time factor or anything, or that it's real time or something like that, it feels like Indiana Jones to me when I play it. And I play it quite often on BGA, actually. BGA, it's excellent on BGA. And whenever I get an invite to a game, I light up when I play it. I'm so glad that I have it in my collection. I love it. And unfortunately, I don't play it as often as I would like because my game group actually don't like it. So
get a new game group.
Yeah, that's
But it does have a solo mode, doesn't it?
It does, but okay, here's the thing. I've played it solo, but with playing games solo, I just find I get desperately lonely. I'm not joking. I just sit there depressed, like I've got no friends, and I just get really
and
I just get really sad playing alone. It's just not good.
I'm so lonely.
It's not good for me. I need people, Mitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's it.
Oh, I'm happy for you, Dana, that that's in your top 10. It didn't make my top 100. All right, Adrian, over to you.
That's because Dana's got good taste.
Oh, that's it.
This is a new entry for me this year. This is a game that I've only played 4 times total, and
Ooh.
it really blew me away. The spatial puzzle is like nothing I've ever experienced. It took Pipeline and amplified it beyond crazy. It's also highly interactive, which is something else that I'm really starting to enjoy more, and that is Horseless Carriage. Horseless Carriage is phenomenal. I don't own it because I feel like this game, I've seen it myself. Anyone that owns this game, it's like when you own a pool, you have to clean it. When you own a boat, you're the one that has to look after it. This game, if you own this game, all you're doing is teaching this game to new people. You're just teaching it. You're never getting like a group together and playing this 10 or 15 times and getting deep into it. But it doesn't mean that it's not a phenomenal game with a spatial puzzle like nothing else I've ever seen. So it's fantastic.
That special puzzle this time, like last time I played it, defeated me so much that in one of the rounds of the game, I actually said, you know what, I'm not doing it this round. I'm just not going to take any actions. I'm not going to do anything on my factory because my brain is just not compatible with it. I skipped my turn because I just couldn't figure it out.
Wow. It's been on my list to try for a while, and what Def just said makes me want to try it more for some reason.
It's great.
Very good. All right, Mitch, round us out with the 8s.
Righto. My number 8. So my 8 words. Before I go to my 8 words, I'll just point out something I've noticed as we've been going around. Dana and I are doing a similar thing with the words. My 2 have been answered correctly. Dana's not. So far, the way it's 2-0. 2-0 me. Okay, let's move on.
I'm just telling you. I made these especially hard because I thought you people would guess them. And I made them hard. So clearly I was wrong.
Dana, at which point in your time dealing with me have you ever thought Mitch is a smart guy?
Never.
Because I've never thought that.
No offense. You play basketball and she gave you a layup with the Great Western Trail one. You would be the only one that knew that card.
Hey, who asked you? Moving on. It's my turn, number 8. All right, so the 8 words for my number 8 game is strategic pursuit, abolish slavery through perilous covert operations.
Freedom.
The Underground Railroad. Yep. Awesome game. Really, really heavy theme. But that's, for me, part of the enjoyment because I know that it's serious. It's worth thinking about. It's something we should remember the past and things that have gone on. And it's not just a game. It does, tingle into the emotions and get you along that path. So I won't say too much more about it, but it's my number 8, Freedom, the Underground Railroad. Really enjoy it.
That's one I still really want to try. Yeah, I've heard so many good things.
Super hard.
Yes.
Yeah, super hard.
But, reflects the theme as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to show you one day, Jules.
Is it still super hard to get as well? Is it still super difficult?
I think it did go out of print for a little while, but I think they've done a second printing or third printing or whatever now. I think it's come back in. If you're looking for a new board game, you need to check out adventgames.com.au. They have a great range of games, including pre-orders and hot new games. Anything you could be looking for will be there at Advent. Dean provides excellent customer service that is second to none, and he's always keen to support the Australian board game community through events, game days, and even through sponsoring a podcast. So head over to adventgames.com.au today. That's adventgames.com.au.
Round to number 7 now. Dan.
That's it. Let's kick off the 7s. This game it's slipped one spot from my top 10. The things I love about this game, just the fact that it packs so much of a punch from a deck of cards. Yes, there's some resources and tokens in there as well, but the world building that this game or these games create with an unfolding story that literally sprawls across the table as you start moving from either room to room or part of the world, another part of the world. I think it has some of the best storytelling in board gaming. I love the way that the campaigns you can build your own deck, but then when you play like with similar deck games from this publisher, you don't know what you're going to get until you deal yourself a hand, and so you don't always get the best resources, but you know that your resources and your items are in there somewhere, just waiting for them to come out. And if you play the campaign mode, you can upgrade those. You can upgrade some cards and actually get a better deck of cards to tackle the next part of your adventure. Arkham Horror, the living card game. It's only slipped one just because it doesn't get to the table as much, but it's still, like I said, it's some of the best storytelling in board gaming, I feel. And yeah, it deserves to be in my top 10, 100%.
Enough
Very
said.
cool. Yeah, don't have to commit.
Dan, that was a lot higher last year, right?
Only one spot. It was
really?
number 6 last year. Yep.
Was it higher the year before, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, I think it might have been about 3 the year before.
Yeah, so that's
on the downward trend.
Yeah, it is. It's just I'm not getting into the table as much as I could. I'd love to try and rectify that in the next 12 months.
Very good. Def.
Right, my number 7, Paul Grogan. According to Paul Grogan, this is scientifically proven the best game of all time. I think it's definitely one of the best games ever designed, and probably by far the best solo experience in board games for my brain, the way it works. I've played this game so much, and there's still so much to explore, and I need to show this to more people, but it's not a game that's very friendly to high player counts. Ultimately, this is Mage Knight. So it was in my top 10 last year. It's climbed one spot. The design is just blowing me away every time I play it. The balance between what you have to do and what you can do with your cards, and the variability which comes from the depth of the gameplay rather than, additional components or expansions or although it does have a couple of expansions, but the fact that I've played it so much and I haven't used the expansions as much at all just says a lot about the depth of its gameplay. Mage Knight, absolutely fantastic game. Number 7.
My favourite tidbit about Mage Knight is the time you tried to show me the mod, and I tried to load it on my school MacBook, and my school MacBook could not load the mod. That's how complex this game is. It shut down an Apple Mac AirBook.
Oh, that's great. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me. The computer just shuts down on a mod.
Probably because you're not dealing with a piece of junk, that's why.
The mod for Mage Knight is also probably the most elaborate one I've ever seen for the game, because it has crazy amounts of automations. Like, if you place your cards face down, they're meant, discarded. If you place them face up, they, you know what I mean? Like, it's... Yeah. But you have to know how it works, and so it's almost quicker to set it up and play it on the table than it's on TTS.
That's crazy. All right, Lauren, over to you.
Alrighty. My number 7 is my favorite 2-player only game of all time. It's part of a design trilogy that I think it is easily the best of the 3. It is Blitzkrieg, World War II in 20 minutes.
No, you're wrong. No.
Jules is yelling, Caesar, Caesar.
They're all great games, but Blitzkrieg for me pips it because every decision in that game is so agonizing, constantly pulling between, this is really good, but that's going to give my opponent this also amazing thing, and that's kind of baked into every decision in the game. Really brilliant, snappy 2-player experience. My number 7, Blitzkrieg, World War II in 20 minutes.
Oh, I felt like that was so close. But yeah, Blitzkrieg is very, very good. Caesar's the one for me.
I never dislike seeing Jules throw a tantrum. So that was very entertaining. Thank you, Lauren.
All right.
Just a fringe benefit.
Number 7. This has slipped only one spot from last year, and I've got to teach it to a lot more people this year because my experience with it last year was pretty much solo. I didn't really play it with any other people, so even though it slipped a little bit, I don't really know why. Maybe I'm just not playing it as much, but I want to play it more one-on-one or even with more people in this coming year. And that is from Chip Theory Games. It is Cloudspire. Fantastic design, great components, so much depth and strategy, so many factions to explore. This game just keeps on delivering, and I feel it's like a bit of a shame that it sort of lives in the limelight of the other titles that Chip Theory do. This is just a fantastic game. I think more people need to try it. It's daunting, but once you get into it, is really, really something special. So
daunting is the right word.
Yes.
It's
just looking at the box and thinking about picking it up is the daunting part.
You got to do like
it's
a
worth
pre-season.
the price of entry.
Yes, absolutely it is. Cool. So that's my number 7. That is Cloudspire.
Yeah.
All right, down to the ball.
Maybe it will come up on my list too.
Oh.
So my next game has these 2 games at the side of it: Frosthaven and Pax Pamir. So two very different.
We're moving
games.
up the list.
Yeah, I was going to say
Right.
that must be in like
Says
top
to me.
30, right? Top 30-ish?
Yeah,
around that.
And
Frosthaven is not that high.
Is it not?
Dana.
Maybe.
Excuse me, are you going to let me say my game or not?
Pretty much not.
No.
Yeah. Dana, you should have played this game. If you have not, then you're not a true Vladimir Suchi fan, and that is his best game, in my opinion, Underwater Cities. I love this game. It is such a great engine builder with such great flexibility. Do you want to play the card? Do you want to take the action? Well, guess what? You can do both, and you should do both, but you need to make your turn work for you. As you move through the ages, you get more and more complex cards. You get to keep moving up and banking those actions and whatnot. Oh, it's so good. I could play this game any day of the week. It has a good solo mode too. I think it plays best at 3, in my opinion. It just, as when you get to 4, it sort of pushes it a bit. But I love, like most engine builders, I love to see the different combinations of cards that people can use. So it is the only engine builder on my list in my top 10. And I think, in my opinion, it is the best one. That is Underwater Cities, my number 7.
Yeah, great choice. It was in my first top 10 that we did it back in 2020.
Yeah, it was. I remember that. Very cool. It's one I've yet to try, so I keep hearing good things. I'll have to put it on my list of things to try. Dana, over to you.
I think that's actually my number 52. I didn't want to put it in because I've only played it 3 times, and even though I did enjoy it, I felt like I probably couldn't put it there. But anyway,
Adrian put in a game he's only played 4.
Oh, well, okay.
That's Adrian, though.
Yeah. So my number 7 is here are my words. Okay, observer, nature, campfire, path token, and rebel.
I know it.
What is it?
Oh.
What is
Parks.
it? No.
No?
Parks 2, then you lost me with Rebel, so...
The Rebel got me a bit, yeah.
Okay, well, that was that. I threw that in. It's a curveball. It's to throw people off. It's Meadow.
Oh, okay.
Rebel is actually the publisher.
Mm.
So sorry, I threw you out. I shouldn't have put that in. Anyway,
That's a good clue.
We still got it wrong,
Dana.
even though we didn't use
You're
it.
expecting us to play 4D chess when we can't even play noughts and crosses. So you're just
well, I thought, Lauren's playing Search for Planet X. So,
Yeah, badly.
so Meadow. Look, it's obvious that the major draw card for me is the artwork of a game, and this is initially what drew me to the game, and it actually keeps me playing it. There's a lady that I was talking to about art in board games, and we sort of seem to speak the same language, where
English?
actually part of the game experience is
Barely.
sorry.
I said English.
Part of the game. English. Oh, God. Part of the game experience is actually admiring the artwork. We'll literally sit there and talk about the artwork as part of the game. And that's what I enjoy about this game. Plus, as an added bonus, it's kind of brain burnery. It's, you know, you have to think 2 or 3 turns ahead to be able to play the cards that you need to play. It sets up very easily and it's very easy to teach. So it's a pleasure. It's actually a favourite of ours in our board game group of ladies. We just love it, and it had to be in my top 10. So number 7, Meadow.
Very nice.
Great pick.
All right, Adrian, what have you got?
Someone hold Def's hand and brace him for impact. This is my number 7.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Gaia Project. It's still in my list. It was number 8 last year. It's gone up, and it's purely because of the
I'll
app
accept
still.
it. It's gone up.
I still play the app. Like, I still use the app. If I'm on the couch watching, some random rubbish, I'll bang out a game of Gaia Project on the app. And I've been really enjoying it. So it's a great game. I mean, there's nothing else to say. We all know the story. It's brilliant. So there we go.
Cool. All right, last one of the number 8s. Mitch.
No, it's the last one of the number 7s.
7s.
Another one. There's 3 of us that can't count now, Jules.
That's it, yeah. We'll just make it up as we go.
All right, my number 7. My 7 words for number 7 are Viking Saga, Explore, Craft, and Build Prosperity.
Feast for Odin.
Feast for Odin it is. Yep. Agree with what Connor said earlier. I think it's Uwe's best game. There's just heaps of stuff to do. Like, I think one of the big strengths is the in-between rounds. So, like, you've got your little spatial puzzle to do on your board and your village and stuff while everybody else is taking the turns. There's never really any downtime in the game. And the solo is so simple because you literally just play one colour of meeples, then you play your other colour of meeples, and then return the first ones. And that's the whole game over again. So, really, really good. Really, really enjoy it. I think it'll live in my top 10 for a while. It's still solid. So that's my number 7, A Feast for Odin.
Fantastic. So this will bring us through to the last round of this episode, the 6s. I'm feeling nervous and anticipating a couple of choices to see whether it falls in this one or the next one for a few people, because I keep track somewhat of what people have chosen from year to year. So let's see what happens. Dan.
Well, Jules, you were with us during the week when we talked about our top 30 to 11. I did reveal that there were 2 new entries to my top 10 this year. This is the second one. And the reasons that I love this game is it's a co-op, and I'm always a fan of a co-op game. It's 2-player. This publisher never lets me down. My kids love their games. It's got one of my favorite word games of all time. It put out Turing Machine as well. And I think this is, hands down, the best 2-player co-op game on the market. It's Sky Team.
Wow. I probably agree with you as well.
I genuinely, the fact that it had such a modular setup, you've got replayability for days. And yeah, besides the fact that you've got the randomization of the dice rolling as well. But in terms of just like 2-player co-ops, it is hands down the best one on the market. And yeah, Scorpion Mask have never let me down in terms of the zombie kids. I've had both zombie teens and zombie kids in my top 50. Decrypto's in my top 50. I had Turing Machine in my top 50. Yeah, Sky Team is at a brilliant, brilliant game.
We binge played that after PAX, Dan. Like, we binged it for a good couple hours. It was great. Yeah. Great fun.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. That I knew you'd love that one, Dan, but top 10 this took me by surprise, but I can see why. All right, Def, what have you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say there's going to be a crossover here.
Ooh.
So, because there's 2 people that really love this game enough to have it between 6 and 1, given it hasn't come up yet. So let's see how we go, Adrian. But my number 6 is a game I absolutely adore. I think it has a combination of mechanics that all individually have been refined, to the death, and individually are extremely brilliant, but all put together, they provide a Euro experience like very few other games. This is Kanban EV, and my current preference from Vital Lacerda, as we've talked about before, about On Mars falling a few spots. But yeah, Kanban EV, I've taught it to a number of people this year, and it has become some of these people's favorite game. And that is so satisfying to me to watch, as if it was my game. So it's hard to describe the satisfaction you get from that. But yeah, Kanban EV, if you haven't played it, you're missing out. It's my number 6.
I am definitely missing out then, because I'm still yet to try it.
I think this is a Euro game that you would love, Jules, because it has a lot of passive interaction in the game that is extremely meaningful. So there's
mean being the key part of that word. Because I remember the time you and Dimmy taught me that game, Jeff, and that's all you did was steal my cars constantly every turn. So, hey. But I was leading at one point when I was the first person to score a victory point in the game.
Oh, dear. All right, Lauren, what have you got now?
Alrighty. My number 6 is easily the lightest game in my top 10. It is a game that I've had so much joy introducing to people, both kids and adults, in the hobby, outside the hobby, at work. I've been able to use it. It is the game that when I heard about the conceit, I thought, why didn't I think of that? It is so clever. And that is Micro Macro Crime City.
Wow. Okay.
Adore this game. Adore it. And when I was doing the list and I was doing the rankings, it just kept creeping up. It kept beating out other games because I just love it. I've shown it to people at work. I've shown it to kids at work whose parents have then gone and bought it and tried it. I've done that. It's just an absolute pleasure to play. And they're going to be introducing a 4th map and then the expansion to combine all 4 maps, which I'm really excited for.
Oh, really?
Yep, they are.
Wow.
How good was that giant one at PAX? That was so good.
It looked so awesome.
Oh, it was amazing.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so not enough good things to say about this. It won Game of the Year for a reason. It's incredibly cool. Micro Macro Crime City, my number 6.
Okay. This one, I'm just going to say it out so no one mispronounces it too soon. It's Inish. Inish is one of the greatest games ever.
You got in there very quick before all the puns and all that.
But the F is silent, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You mean the B?
The B.
Inish is one of the greatest area control games. It has such a unique way in which the power balance ebbs and flows, and having such a small deck of cards that are just the engine that drives that tension throughout the whole game is absolutely amazing. The expansion actually adds a lot of really fun and interesting modules, especially the one that adds harbors, because it just makes the map tighter. You can suddenly move from one end of the board to the other with some simple movement. It's so good. The drafting is so unique, so tense. It feels like every decision you make, you're doing one good thing for yourself, but also handing your opponent something brilliant. So, yeah, sitting at number 6. It's actually climbed a spot from last year. It's Inish.
I'll let Mitch make the jokes, and I'll just move on to tomorrow.
I've run out. I'm just trying to keep my dinner down. That's all.
Get some Gaviscon.
So dismissive. Cameras caught up. All right. I'll try and get us back on track. I know, as crazy as that sounds. So the games either side of my number 6 are Great Western Trail, specifically the new edition. So it did say the new edition, because I imagine the original's way up there, but this one isn't too far. And a game on Dana's list, Lost Ruins of Arnak. And this game, unfortunately, has fallen a little bit down my rankings because I haven't got to play it as often, even though they have released some really cracking expansions to it over the last 12 months.
Arkham Horror, the living card game.
It is not Arkham Horror Living Card Game, which they've also released some cracking expansions.
I was holding my breath.
It is a game of woodland right and might, and that is Root.
Ah.
It's got everything I love in a game: asymmetry, combat, a little bit of customization with the cards. It's got that tension, and it's got the simplest battle mechanic in just about any game I've played. You roll 2 dice, the attacker gets the highest value, unless you're the Woodland Alliance. Long live the Woodland Alliance. And then you work out how many figures or tokens that you lose based on how many figures that you have available to do the attacking. This game, I love it. I love everything about it. Just unfortunately, I haven't gotten it to the table. I wish I could find a group to play this with, once a month or once every 2 weeks or something, because it would definitely have a case for my number 1. But that is Root, my number 6.
That is a surprise. Did it drop from last year?
Yes. Not very far, though.
Okay. All
Not
right.
very far. Yeah.
It was your number 7 last year. It went up.
Oh, was it? It went up. There you go.
Detailed
It dropped and then it bounced. It must have bounced back up.
All right, Dana.
I keep track of these things.
Okay. My number 6. Here are my 5 words: monasteries, France, hex, workers, white die.
Did you
Anyone?
hyphenate white die?
Look,
Castles of
hurry up.
Burgundy?
I did it again.
Castles of Burgundy.
Oh my God, that's 6 words. What a moron.
Lauren, say it again.
So good.
Say it again.
now we're
The
not the
Castles
dumb
of
one,
Burgundy?
Connor.
Castles of Burgundy, yes.
Oh God.
Wait, hang on a second. I'm still the dumb one. Don't take it off.
Okay.
What a moron. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Sorry, did someone call me?
Lauren, yes, that's correct. Castles of Burgundy.
Nice.
Very classic Euro, but a testament to this game is I've had all three editions. I think there's
Wow.
3. I've had all 3, sold 2, and now I've got the special edition. And it's just a joy to play. I don't know what else to say about it, really. I love dice. Anything manipulating dice, I enjoy that. And that's a big part of this game. And it's got lots of replayability. I mean, there's all different maps that you can have as your duchy. And I just love this game. It's just a pleasure to play. And that's it.
Yeah, I played it for the first time this year, and I really enjoyed it. I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's a
Absolute
classic for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
All right, Adrian, number 6.
So my number 6 has moved down a couple of spaces from last year. In theory, I think. Maybe it bounced like Connor's. But that's actually, it's Teotihuacan. It's still a great game. It's still my favorite dice placement, manipulation of dice game that I still play now. The BGA application of it is fantastic. My mum's favorite game, her number 1. So, I have to put it in there. I've played it a bunch with her on BGA as well while she's still in the UK. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, it's just a solid game. And it's exactly what Dan said. The tracks are great. The expansions are great. The orange track is my favorite, where you just get to manipulate all of the different aspects of rule-breaking combos that don't exist in the base game. I just love it. I think it's a great, fantastic game. I didn't back the big fancy pants one because I actually preferred the art style for the old one. That's just me. That was just my preference. I liked it. I stuck with it. So, Teotihuacan.
Very solid choice. All right, Mitch, last one.
Bringing us home. Okay, so my 6 words for number 6 are Russian flair, cunning tricks, and strategic maneuvers.
Oh,
I'm
Undaunted.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Don't.
I was
No.
thinking
Stalingrad.
GMT, but I couldn't.
Niet.
Ah, of
Oh.
course.
Niet. I thought you might pick up on the cunning tricks.
Yeah.
So, Niet is my favourite trick-taking game. I think it just ticks all those boxes. It was interesting, actually, yesterday there was a lot of trick-taking games being played at the Sydney Game Day, and people were hyped about Cat in the Box and Caesar Strife, and we even played Maury and Luna, the new ones. And someone said to me, so, would this be up there in terms of your favourite trick taker? I think Dean actually said that Caesar Strife was his favourite all-time trick taker. And I said, no, I think Niet's still got it for me. Niet has definitely still got it. And it's just about the simplicity of the gameplay. It doesn't have to have these gimmicks about, different things that happen, different tricks and different ways they go. It's you choose the trumps, you choose all the rules for each hand, and you just play tricks. It's just awesome. One of the, in my opinion, the best trick taker that I've played so far. So that's my number 6, Niet.
Fantastic. I just wish that one was back in print. It's so good.
Yeah. It is indeed.
People shouldn't have to go to extraordinary lengths to get copies of that game.
And it's interesting that of all the different games that have had reprints or rebrands or, reskins in terms of to do re-releases and new editions, and this one just isn't.
Yeah,
and
it's weird.
I can't see that there's any proprietary licensing or anything over it.
No.
They might be holding it back, but yeah, it's a strange one.
A lot of people have print and played it themselves.
Yes, yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. Cool. Well, that will round us out for our number 10 to 6 for this week. There's still 5 more to go, the pointy end of the countdown.
That's it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. There were some real surprises there, but all around really, really great games. Really great games in those lists.
Yeah, games that are going up and down like root all the time. That's fine.
It's all right. These things happen, and there's always new games that are going to bump things around. So that'll do us for this week. Hope you can join in and listen in for our 5 to 1 on the next episode. Until then, we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.